Muhiri hunzieditse, muhiri humpileshe, nawe kadumela tentebe kadume, tentebe kadume, tentebe kadumela tente, kadumela tentebe kadume, tentebe kadume, tentebe kadumela tente. Muhiri hunzieditse, muhiri humpileshele, muhiri hunzieditse, muhiri humpileshele, nawe kadumela tentebe kadume, tentebe kadume, tentebe kamela, kadumela tentebe kadume. 16.
Redueleng, redeberekitsi, redueleng, imama semaloba kaditebenyana, semaloba, asemaloba kadichenchinyana, asemaloba, imama semaloba kaditebenyana.
Halala Satuku, halala. Halala BFTU, halala. Halala ITF, halala. Amanda. Amanda. We only have our sister from Kenya. Maybe benefit. So, but she's our sister, she's an African, so we'll mix English and Setswana, but you know that the message for today is for the struggle. Aha. So let me take this time to greet our Honorable Minister, Major General Mokware, Raitsore Ahudumedisa, and also greet our only and lovely sister Remisa Yalobahaitsu, because of our relationship, and also let me also greet the distinguished guest representative from the Botswana Federations of Trade Union, representative from the International Transport Workers Union, Workers Federation, and also government officials who are supposed to be here, even though we only have those from the Labor Office. And let us also greet our Honorable Councillor who are supposed to be here, the Honorable of this, the Councillor of this area, and the Kosi. Minister, above all, let me also welcome my dear elected delegates, Bagaitsu Dumelang. Kita switches ago Sukwemba na Morena for the benefit of our sister. It is with immense pride and a deep sense of purpose that I welcome you all to the 2026 Btgwu Delegates Congress held here at the Oasis Motel in Tokweng. We have come together today as the highest decision-making body of our union. Over the next 2 days, we will elect a new national executive board that will lead us from the next 5 years. We are also going to review our performance and charter the way forward. Deliberate on the challenges facing our members in the transport, retail, security, cleaning, manufacturing, and allied sectors. And also, most importantly, unite under our chosen theme that says, strength in unity, championing fair labor practices in the dawn of the new legislation. That is our theme. This theme captures the very essence of why we are here. It reminds us that our greatest power lies in our collective strength and that we must not seize the opportunities presented by the new Employment and Labor Relations Act 2025 to advance fairness, dignity and justice for every worker in Botswana. Ke dumela gore ra itse bo comrade gore go na le melao ya rona e nentse e phataletse e ntse yalo ba gaetsho go na le Employment Act go na le Trade Dispute go na le eng ba gaetsho tsotlhe re di tsentse mo gore e nne molao le mongwe hela o bidiwa yalo go to Employment and Labor Relations Act ba ka o lengwe ko no re le kang go bua ka one gore molao wa ba gaetsho ka ga o ntseng ka teng mo boleng teng ba gaetsho ba puso e busang le boeteledipele ba raetsho re mokgware o tisa fairness ba ka o lengwe dignity for the workers and justice ke dumela gore ke sone so se re se batang and mind you kana union rights are human rights yet the road has not been easy. Organizing workers in the private sector remains extremely difficult. Many of our potential members still live in fear of victimization if they openly associate with the union. We continue to face union-averse employers who resist recognition and collective bargaining. Representation is costly because of segmented bargaining forums and the vast scope of our terrain. Rail, road, civil aviation, logistics, private security, property services, and general workers, making it hard to build a strong financial base. Serle kang go se bua ra itso re mokgware go gore re iphitlhela re organize mo bathong ba di salary tse di ko tlase ba ile gore ba bereka ditiro tse di nyatsegileng entswa di na le seabe se se tona mo economy ya lehatshele ke sone se re le kang go se bua ra itso. Some managers and employers operate remotely from foreign countries with little regards for Botswana's labor laws. Re iphitlhela re na le bothata bo e leng gore bahiri ba bangwe ba ko mahatsheng a sele mme ba dira gore ba gaetsho ba bereki ba lehatshele ba nne mo mathateng ka gore ha ba follow melao ya lehatshele ke yone challenge e tona e re na le yone. And also we are financially constrained. Financial constraints have prevented us from employing full-time organizers, leaving our elected officials who are themselves full-time employees stressed thin and sometimes unable to deliver the quality of service our members deserve. Re iphitlhela re mokgware re na le mathata a gore jaaka re le lekgotla la babereki ga re na babereki ba ba ka simololang ba organize ga nka go balela di-company tse re na le tsone ha ke di-company tse e le gore ke bo Motoveke ke bo Carnival Furnitures bo Systems tse e le gore ke sa security re na le mathata a gore ga re ise re kgone go tsenelela mo bochopisi ba santse ba kga maoto ka lone lebaka la gore ga re na di-resources tsa go hira di-organizers. Comrades, while we focus on advancing fair labor practice in the workplace, we cannot turn a blind eye to disturbing social ills that continue to plague our society. The alarming rise in cases of people disappearing without trace and the brutal killings of women and children have left many of our members living in fear and grief. Homo re mokgware mototegi re bona go didimetswe mo pusong ka kgang ya teng. Re le babereki re setse re theogela re sa theogele sente ka lone lebaka la gore bana ba rona ba nyelela tsatsi le a tswa ngwana o kgaoletse o tsentswe mo khulareng ka moso ke mme. Jaanong ne re kana rona as the trade union movement, we are the voice of the voiceless. So ga gona nako epe le gore ka bua ka ditshwanelo tsa rona re be re sa bua ka ditshwanelo tsa setho sothe. Jaanong ke gone mo re ra itsho ka o tile ka kwano mme ebile o le mongwe ba e leng gore le mo pusong re rata gore re te go mo go bue le ko pele ko bagolong gore re le makgotla a babereki re tshwenyegile ka go bolawa ga batho le tidimalo ya puso mo go gone. Bogolo jamba bo mme le bana ba basetsana mme ano go godile ba gaetsho bo mme nne go twe ba ja madi a borre he we ba tsietsa batho malatsing a no motho ga a bola o bola mme a ba bola le family yote maabane ana le sole le ne le thuntsha ba mosadi le bana ngwananyana ka weekend ko ntheng ya Madinari o rile o ya masimo o rile a taba ta su a tseru diphatse ba gaetsho re tshwenyegile ra etso ka seemo se sentseng yalo so se ka bo sone hela se kgaoganya di-family tsa rona se roba babereki kagiso ka tsela e ntseng yalo. As a union that champions the dignity and well-being of every worker, Btgwu strongly condemn all forms of violence and gender-based harm. We stand in solidarity with the affected families and call upon the government, law enforcement agencies, traditional leaders, and all social partners to act decisively to protect the most vulnerable members of our society. Only when our homes and the communities are safe can our members truly enjoy the fruits of decent work and fair labor practice. Re tsamaya re bua ka decent work. Decent work ba gaetsho e re phakela gore a ngwana gore bye. O bo le sho ya gore o ta moela. That's why we are concerned about the safety of the worker ko tirong. Me gape re tshwanetse gore be re le a sho gore e ta re ngwana ya sekole maitsibo a bo kopana le. Ke ra re ke sone seemo seo se re le mo go sona. Comrades, without wasting time, the dawn has broken. Let us walk into this new day together with courage, with discipline. I want to underline this word discipline, because in our organizing strategies, re tsamayana, re bolella bahiri gore this union ka bo yone ha ena go emela magodu, ha ena go emela batho ba eleng gore ga ba bereki, ha ena go emela batho ba bana ba tang ba nole ba ta mo tirong. A se go ha go itirelelo ka gore mo unioneng. So this must be in your mind. We are members of Btgwu e leng gore maikaelelo a yone ke gore e reise batho ba eleng gore ba na le boikarabelo. Ra utlwana ba kaulengwe. We are talking about discipline and with unbreakable unity. Let this Congress send a clear message. The workers of Botswana are united, we are informed, and we are ready to champion fair labor practice in this new dawn.
Ke ne ke setse ke boleletswe ka go senya nako. Ka jalo, please mankitsebe hela mo thulaganyo e ke hilwe. As I've been questioned against the time wasting, I will skip the preliminaries. The president of the union has already handled the protocol in her opening remarks. So I will proceed directly to unpacking the theme. Thank you, President Mulaudi, for that warm welcome and for entrusting me with the honor of unpacking our Congress theme: strength in unity, championing fair labor practices in the dawn of new legislation. This is not just a slogan, it is our battle cry for the next 5 years. Let me break it down into its 3 powerful pillars. Some of the things the president has touched on, it may seem like we were, oh, thank you, okay. Right, strength in unity. Comrades, history has taught us that no single worker, no matter how brave or skilled, can successfully confront exploitation alone. When we stand divided, employers and anti-worker forces pick us off one by one. But when we stand together, across companies, across sectors, and across borders, our voices become thunderous, our demands become irresistible, and our victories become permanent. Unity is not just a slogan, it is our only real weapon. Hence, it starts our theme, strength in unity. Second is championing fair labor practices. For far too long, many of our members have enjoyed precarious contracts, unfair dismissals, poverty wages, and a lack of respect in the workplace. As the Botswana Transport and General Workers Union, we have a sacred duty to fight relentlessly for fairness, dignity, and justice. Fair labor practices are not a favor from employers. They are a fundamentally human right. Third, in the dawn of new legislation. Comrades, we stand at the threshold of a truly historic moment, the Employment and Labor Relations Act 2025. Jaka Lutule Medium Press Aikakati. Assented to by His Excellency the President on 27 November 2025, and said they commence very soon. In a game changer, it's a game changer for workers in Botswana. This single comprehensive act consolidates all the fragmented laws into one modern, worker-friendly statute. Its most powerful provisions that will directly transform our members' lives include, there are just a few, the rest of the unpacking speech, I think I'll not have to go through it all. Day one protection against unfair dismissals. The old qualifying period has been completely removed. From the very first day of employment, every worker now has the right to challenge any arbitrary or unfair dismissal. Number two, end to abusive fixed-term contracts. Successive fixed-term contracts exceeding 12 months are now prohibited unless there is a genuine objective justification. This strongly promotes permanent employment where the work is of a continuing nature. Expanded equality and anti-discrimination protections. Discrimination on grounds of sex, pregnancy, disability, health status, sexual orientation, political orientation, and many others, it's now explicitly outlawed. Equal pay for work of equal value is now a legal right. Stronger collective bargaining and freedom of association. Itari thusa rena le mohiri o mongwe. Hey, ho dinga logo collective bargaining agreement. Our right to form and join trade unions, to bargain collectively and to strike where necessary, have been reinforced. Improved leave entitlements. Maternity leave expanded to 14 weeks at 70% pay. New paternity and family responsibility leave introduced, and statutory sick and annually leave protections strengthened. And fairer termination, retrenchment, and dispute resolution. Negotiated retrenchment packages, clearer probation rules, and a more efficient mediation and arbitration system. Hono ho sena ho buisana ka di retrenchment package in the Employment Act. Hompieno wa tama ka molao wa Employment and Labor Relations Act. Ke sengwe se re se lebogelang thata tota. pele ke digela mma ke hite ka hore at this same time we want to send a very clear and reassuring message to all our employer partners who are here today and those watching from afar. You have nothing to fear. The Botswana Transport and General Workers Union remains fully committed to decent, constructive, and mutually beneficial engagements. As long as employers cooperate with us in implementing fair labor practices and complying with the new law in good faith, we will always prefer dialogue, negotiation, and partnership over confrontation. Our goal is not to destroy businesses, but to build stronger workplaces where workers are treated with dignity and companies can thrive in a climate of industrial harmony. Viva Employment Labor Relations Act, viva! Viva Btgwu, viva! Viva Workers Unity, viva!
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremonies. Me ke tsena ko se botsadi ke le lemoge lotlhe ka maemo a lona. Go na le mo go tlwaelesegileng go te all protocol observed. Bangwe ba re go mo ga o dira jalo wa bo bunyatsa batho kana wa bo o itsapa go bua maina a bone. Ba bangwe ba re ga o bua jalo wa bontso le mo tirong o le ka go soboka nako ka gore batho ba bo ba setse ba lemogilwe gale ka tsamaiso ya bone mme ebile gape ba dumedisitse. Ya mme ke batla go ikamanya le bone ba ba bobedi ba ba rialo ba re go mo ga o dira jalo wa bo o soboka nako. Mme ke kopa gore distinguished delegates, distinguished officers, executive officers, distinguished leaders here, may kindly say to you protocol observed.
Halala, Minister, halala.
Halala motogetse, mela ke aka ke le dumedisa ka bongwe ya lona yana. Ke batla gore ke le rekere. Ke a itumela ebile ke bona go le botlhokwa gore e be le lona union a ntlha ke bua le yone ka 2026. Ke bua le lona la ntlha ka 2026 re saletswe ke dibeke ke malatsi gore molao wa rona wa labor o montšha o tle o simololle go tsena mo tirisong.
Halala, honorable, halala.
Me go le botlhokwa e le goreng go tla bo jaaka ke ntse ke utlwa le ntse le bua yana e le a new leaf gore go changeile e le letlhare le le ntšha le le tla bo le changeile go supa gore re tsena mo kgatong e e rileng. This also calls for us. Are we ready to accept and adopt that new law? Rona, are we ready to accept it and implement it? To what extent are we ready? Does our strategic plans incorporate this particular new law? Do you have an implementation plan yourselves? So Santakana, what you require is education yourselves. How do you understand the new law yourselves? Are you going to cascade it down to the general workers? Are you prepared to take this new law to your members? How are you going to do it? Ke gore mo go batlagang gore di sele tsa lona di cluster tsa lona di be di tlhaloganya molao o di be di a go tsaya di uballa batho ka bonya ka iketlo ka boteng bo pela jo bo tlhokagalang. mme kana ba gaetsho ga molao o montšha o tla o raya gore le rona ba re ang go o dirisa le rona re change. Wa bona ga re ka salela ko dilong tsa bogologolo jaanong re salela ko bogologolo re nna ka re dilo ga di a change go raya gore ra bo re sa ikamogela kana re sa amogele yone change e re e batlang rona. I know bangwe ba ne ba dumela molao o ba re ga ka kwa feta ba dumela gore no o ntseng jaana o ba o bala. I remember one gentleman a ntharo o badile draft o e neetswe ke mongwe a ke dumela gore molao ona o ka heta o ke mora ke re no nna ke bona o siamela, I don't see anything se duleng mo tseleng ka o a re o ga o ka kwa heta ke a go bolelela le ka tsamaya le bona. But I want to thank the Botswana cabinet which advised the president to sign the law, because they were very brave also to say, this is what we want, this is what we've been working for, this is what we've been fighting for all these years. And they advised the president to sign, and the president accepted to sign. And I have to thank him for that. So he said, this is what I've been waiting for. Se ke sone se ntseng ke se emetse go se ba monwana se. Ya re tshwantse gore re lebogeng jalo re be re itse jalo. Jaanong kgwetlho e tona mo go rona rotlhe ke gore ka re dumane re le bararo e le mohiri e le mmereki e le puso jaanong ra go dire ka tsela e ntseng ba rotlhe ba mongwe le mongwe o na le share a gago ya tshwanetseng go e dira. Rona re le puso ya ka bona re o isitse ebile re o fetisitse re butse dipelo tsa rona re this is what we want to see when we talk of a decent work, decent wage. This is what we want to see. We are ready and we are even prepared to provide that ecosystem tsamaiso eo fo gare ga mohiri le mmereki e tlhokagalang in order to propel the economy of Botswana from where it is to the next level. Because we believe that when people are performing willingly, they will be able to achieve their objectives. The country will be able to forge forward. The country will be able to be productive. You might think that they are small, but they are big when they work in your own subconsciousness. Again, now personally, I did not become a fighter because my father or my mother was a maid. No. I understand my rights. And I do not want anybody else to stumble onto my rights.
Halala, Minister, halala.
Nna ke tlhaloganyang dikgwetlho tsa me tsa botshelo tse ke di tlhaloganyang di-rights tsa me ka fo di ntseng ka teng ebile ga ke batle ope a di gata ka dinao kana ebile a gata ka tseo mongwe ka dinao yo o tshwanang le nna. Change your sons. Make your sons to be progressive. Change. Hale ka nna le di opela they are building into your own subconsciousness. You are changing these laws because you believe in your rights yourselves. Yeah, you know, there's a difference between a liberation and now attaining what you have attained. But if you are going to, you can go to any other country which has liberation songs. They stopped as soon as they attained that independence. They stopped singing the liberation songs because they know that they have achieved that. They are in chorus with the current situation. So I'm begging you, I'm advising you, if you want to change and you want to feel change, change inside yourselves. every weekend go tlala go letswa thata teng. Rona ba re boi ba re ratang molao ne re duela ra tsena sentela mo kgorong. Bone ba ne ba tlhagela ka ko morago ka kwa. A sona a tlhala ka ko morago o tla ba tla iphitisa re ke a tswa ke a nta ba tsa go tsaya koloi ya tsena ka yona. Ka tsile ne go letswa mahala ne go tsile mongwe wa ko South Africa kwa. Ha le go godimo ga terato kwa ya bodiba a tlhagela ba re hey go tsena mahala tsatsi eno. Are go tsena mahala go na le go ra huluga le botana ba ntse a tlolela he. Because he's used to that. You know, go batla gore change re tso re gate sentle mo di stepeng re le mo go tsona. None of us ya ga re tetse ha motsweng can actually attribute any blame of what we are going through to this particular government, to the Botswana government, the UDC government. None of you. The UDC government has contributed to the situation in which we are. Yeah, mismanagement, the disaster which we are going through today. 58 years. 58 years. What you are seeing today, the substandard education has brought us to what we are today. Because education is a process. The end product is you. Also to system education. We tell you are in a new world, no work for you. You have been taught nothing. You can sustain yourself. Economics, what is it? I wanna say corruption is the usual thing. Yeah, every day. Corruption. This is because of the mismanagement, misgovernment, whereby sometimes people are even planted onto the unions. We have to understand these realities. Some of our colleagues have gone. Some of them you are survivors yourselves. At least for now, as you are here. Because all those matata Luna, now you can realize, you can see what is happening. So, yeah, change so nake batla gore bakaalo le ha le ntse ana le tabo le tla le bua le tsemela le a go pele. Let us appreciate your own efforts of changing this government. Your own efforts. Ke lona ne le tlhopha ga gona ope gape. Ne le tlhopha le batla go change. Mme le changeile. Yaanong gang ke gore le dira eng? Ke sone se government ene a leng open. Dilo tsene di se diragala. First, the bargaining council is there. Bargaining council is there. For the first time, le bona mohiri wa bahiri ba lona ba bilediwa go di officing ba botswa dipotso go ta arabela dikgang. For the first time, le bona re change re tsiwela dikgang le nngwe ya labor re yemela ka dinao. Ga gona ope wa rona yo nang le di-shares mo bathong ba ba eteletseng makgotla ba ba eteletseng di-businesses. Ba le bane ba dira gore they were shareholders. That is why ne ba ka se ka ba tsere ope dikgato ka gore le ne la ama matshelo a bona. Rona ga rena sepe se re ka sama. Ga rena di-interest ko mining, ga rena di-interest ko Botswana Railways, ga rena di-interest mo di-trucking. That is why re ba bitsa re ba tseela dikgato. But then, go mo go lona gore re tle mmogo re kopane. Re dumelane mmogo yo mongwe. You should not view Mokware o mo lebelela through the mirrors of the old system. Ntebela ke le mosha ke le Mokware yo mo itse o ne ke ntse ke na le wena ke le kakwa. Re le mmogo. O se kwa ntebela ka seipone se o ne a ntse a le hae mongwe a tla go bua dikgang di se. Nya, ga ra nna jalo ro. Re batla o re lebelele hela ka o re itse ne re ntse re le mmogo. Ebile ga re se go re change go. Ra itse gore go na le ba bangwe ba tswang ba re nya re change le jaaka ba bangwe ba bua jang. But ga go a tshwanela gore rona re te re simolle re tsene mo dikganyeng tse di ntseng jang. Yang ke yona kgang ene ke kopa ya ntlha ke kopa gore let us transform our unions, ladies and gentlemen. Let us make our unions to be progressive. Let us re-look at our constitutions. How can we terming we are on high progressive? Let us promote inner democracy in our unions. Baba ngoma ya mo adi union e settle di face ni mitsabo. It's not right. It's not right. Well, gore motho o tsetsa le 15 years. Antsa. Re ntse re leke re itse gore jaaka le dirile gore ko go goromente motho a tsene 5 years a busa a tsamaya 5 years a busa a tsamaya. Le rona ko di unioneng a re ne gore this inner democracy ra practice. You put a cap on that. You cannot just have motho go take Secretary General ga o kopana bana ba banyenyane ba simolang form 1 ba ntse ba itse gore ke ene Secretary General Mokware go ithala ba ta go bereka le mo tirong bo ba tswa mo tirong e ntse le Secretary General Mokware le ene ngwa ga tsa go tsote di go hala ntse la a sa change. You need new minds in the unions. Let the youngsters come in. Le bone ba botlhale hala jaaka lo. We are moving into the platform economy today. In the platform economy is whereby now, but the other young le ba busy but you need union. And how are you going to help Merrick Wayangu? You some platform. You also very in the 4 walls. You very kankamara nyani to be a member of your union. Ali approach. It is a new world. Approach. But those people are workers. They are workers. They have to be protected. They have to unionize. Now, this is where now you need the new brew who understand today's economy, the platform economy, how it works. Rona badi choko le black boroto na kwa rona iti. So let us change. Haraka ikhanela la hela gone fo. Re khana la go no for us ka re dira gore union tsa rona re dire our constitution to be progressive. Re promote inner party democracy. Re promote fairness in our unions. Ha gona go pekore ka yante. So ke sone se ke le kopang nna ka re a re lebeleng di union tsa rona re le tsone re lebela gore medica tsamaya. Always have a strategy of how to go out. Ya go wina the business community. Now, ke dumela gore ga le approach a business entity. Le tshwantse le approach with a spirit of building a partnership. And the only denominator designed to build this partnership is the worker. Ke ene glue go gare ga wena this business entity le union. Again. But now it is upon you, how do you accommodate the business community using this individual who for area? So you should have a strategy how ukopa bora di business gore ba letelle maloko a bone a joine union o bolela ra business hore ke batla re nne di partner re tshwaragane. Re tshwaragane le mmereki yo gore mmereki yo ga re mo tshwaraganetse yo o re tla ntsha maduo a botoka ga re ntsha maduo a botoka you will be able to invest more, and investing more means more jobs for other Batswana. That is supposed to be the spirit which we preach as the unions. not confrontational. Because not confrontational, business they should go somewhere where they were go ba amogela sa gante. Ke batla gore le ntlhaloganye so. Ga ke re le go nna malatswa tshipa. Ka re have a strategy ha go ngoka boradikgwebo gore ba accept the union. The law is clear. It says that it is illegal for any employer to deny a worker to unionize. The law is clear. Ke molato. But when now wa union, o tshwanetse go mo bone gore o ritibatsa mohiri yo pelo jang gore a amogele molao o a be a o dirise ka fa wena o batlang ka teng. It's simple as that. Nangas, hali deliberator, come out with that strategy or la go bua jang le bo. Le bone le be ba target ba le ba batlang ditori. Yo matata go ke. Le ba direle bo SWOT analysis. Look at their strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities open for them. Because wa molela mora ore ha o le businessman, o le ntsana kara o le ra di shop ya. Ga o duela ba ke ba sente ba profit tsa go di tla gola di tla go godimo. O wa go bula shop e ngwe go boketekete. Ka ina le batho ba lekana. This is what you could do. Some of the business entities or ideas you have, you can also let it the business. Again, I agree about the discount our members or jana le jana. I look at Hampio the discounts about 10%, 25%. I guess this is what you have to negotiate and encourage your workers to say, support. So let us look at those things. Let us make sure Rabua return Namuri Kanyintedi Siame. Young way, Ekitson Kiame Bakaudum Hakor. Hali Batobadi Union. Hasora Hamuta Guido Mutu. Ani ansal a loyal member. A duella mo union. Janu le ka khawgana halale na yalo. Asantana le a pending case. Nya, a go sia. Kumpio ku batho ba talang go rona go. Ke bana ba ntse ba le di member tsa di union ba contribute religiously every month. Go itela bo batla go tswa mo tirong. Ba bo ba ga ba sona ba tswa mo tirong. E be gore jaanong lona la ba la thaka gore contribution ya bone ga sa tswa ga ena teng. Ghana, in your own investment, part of your investment, part of that contribution, you are supposed to be banking for the future in case now there is no any other income coming from the unions, but the cases has to be continued. You need a fund, a certain amount of money which you will invest. So that those people buy long or bad do labor senior to get it to be labor could be lesante lesaka lebone. Many bone le khona go ba cater laja. So buinti balona hala di rajalo. Jan kesone se ke kopang gore. Let us do that. Reprotect about over. Look at your neighbors here, South Africa. Even today, the unions there. Bainze ba yemetse batho ba selemba bereka 10 years ago. Kadina banze ba seka. Baruna la ka motho ala tsana gampe kwana ga kuwa mo tiro me e ntse le case le ntse le tshotse lona ba le ba union le ntse le tshotse no la motlogela le kgaogana le wa a nya ga ntse madiang ke kopa gore le dire gore mo mading a ntshiwang put a certain come out with a fund ele ka e bela ngwa la bela for this eventuality. Because you will be able to protect these people. Le bone ke gone ba ka simola ba nna le trust mo go lona. Kana ga le ka simola le khapa le itsa sente le di union. Le be le emela batho sente batho bo ba bona mosola wa lona wa union. A lot of people will flock into the unions. But go le join. Ba sa le join le di loan ya ka gampie ko ya. Kana gampie ko le loka maloko ka gore le na le di loan. Okay. But the primary objective of a union is to represent, to be the vocal point of a worker. Is a machonisha wa work wa marry. Luna ke lona ano le ba tseisang di loan. Luna ke lona be le gore ba sala ka negative mo di salary tsa bona. Which means that which is a contradiction to what you have been made to be as a union. Le batla go ntale re motho o ka sala ka 1.5 take home pay a tshela ana le bana le dikeletso ana boleke bula ana savana ya o ke diwa khante le tele bona go ke diwa petrol maba ba go le bolela banga no gore nya kana ana go ta re rwele kwa eta kwano kwa re tsenya price ba ka khona ka 1.5 nya you are not protecting these workers now lona le bo matshonise ba bona o le ba pisitse maikano le maikemisetso a lona le union a go buelela mmereki a go dira gore tiro tsa mmereki di nne senjano go na le bopege ka se bopego sa go leka go ngoka babereki gore ba bone gore totala ba buelela le ba emetse sentle lona yaano le tsene ha gore nyata kwano re na le madi a kana rona go go adima ka interest e ko tlase. That is the battlefield which the unions have now entered into. I'm not saying it is a good idea, but are level gore amme ga e se yone anong e leader batho kana ke batla go bona union e ka ya manka dinao e tsama le ba bereki yone e ba ruta financial education go tshola madi he le kile la dira jalo gale ka ke la dira jalo. Why? Simply because how ke lebella di union ya ha ile gore ya ka ni go utlwa mme a bua gore kana ga bana office bearers le batla le boele go kganyenye ya gore go gore bangwe goromente ke ena ba duelang neo ya bona akere gore there are some people who are paid for by the government ba le mo union gore ba e duelelle ga o tsana o le ko skilling sa bo C o le a member of the union wo se kenwa to the union wa go bereka teng kwa wa go go iswa ko scale sa ga E. Imagine a very big jump. Yeah, la re lona le batla gore ba bereki ba private sector ba dire jalo. But let us understand why was the government doing that. Na ke santse ke le raya ke re go mo go bola yo independence as a union. Go a le bola ka gore jaanong goromente ga bona gore le na motho o powerful le ka nna a gana go le duelela motho a withdraw akere. So it is a vulnerability on itself. Yeah, are le ken rona ka rona re bona gore rona mme re ka tlhabolla ka tsela e ntseng jang ra bona gore our representatives re ka di duela bokae tsa re emela sentle. And gongwe yone madi a government subsidy a tswang kwa duela batho jaanong ko ona a dirang gore bangwe ba gane go tswa mo maemong jaanong ba nne le ruri hela bo ba manipulate system ha go tsana di tlhopha go change wa constitution ka fo go tlhophiwang ka teng bangwe ba ipela di delegates tsena di a rekiwa go tsama delegate di petse di rileng hela ga o le mo mong gore di a tlhophiwa ga o se wa le kokwa la teng ga o ka ke wa tsena ka kwa wa nna delegate gore di bidwa ka password hela delegate tsa teng jana e be di hela teng. They know how to maneuver all those things. Gore mo gore bolanka ina party do at the inner internal democracy ya rona in the unions ke kopa gore re bankanye maybe le ke batla gore sa yone ena ke le record. I think it is high time re tsenye boeteledi pele ba di union le bone bo declare di asset tsa bone ke itse la go mana. But now it is ga ke lebeletse boeteledi pele ba di union le bone bo tshwantse re bo declare their assets hela ya ka ma parliament ya ka ma councilor ya ka batho ba procurement. So le lona ba nga union le tele ba botse gore wena mokgware o tsene ha o sena Navara gampe go etsa kae akere. Hey, they have to declare their assets le bone mme le bone ba le ba tlhophang ba they are supposed to be subjected to vetting. Ba veti le tsona ba thopa le ba tsala ba isa ko veting kwa ba go veta ba na gore a me ba nunuhile go etella pele ga bana di belebe jana tse. Are they financially sound? You can't take mokgwari wa mogala like a negative to go and lead a union. Ha gore ke na negative ke be ke a go tla le union ke. No, ke a go senya. The rest assured. So sometimes gore ke a go senya ke phela gona ke re no. Ke lone le tseno lone le. Ke gona o tla bona the system should be able to produce credible, accountable, responsible leaders. That's what we want. That is the objective. So, no. Na ke na le tumela o tsena gore di tse re tshwentse re tsena tse re di bankanye di be di te di siame re be re re bona gore jaanong the unions tsa rona di na le tsamaiso ye rileng le lona ba le bangwe ka mai la ba bolella gore no bona gore o tlhophe go nna moeteledi wa union o tshwantse o bona le maitsholo a ntseng jana le jana. Madam President was talking about discipline. Gompieko ga o ka lebella in the social media, some of the union members tse ba di kwalang ba roga leadership ya bone they are chosen, they are hakamat. Mme kana ebile e le babereki ba ipitsa maina ba ipitsa ka di pseudonyms ba lebala gore mo security gadget tse e tshotseng eo e na le signature gore la ka ipitsa semamang wa ipitsa Mr. Tonki Jereng. As long as you know this phone, we are going to find out the phone. Look, people are like mo system. Ke ka khona go identify batho botlhe ba ba mo rumunye ke le teng go ke be ke go bolela with certainty gore ke batho ba mo rumunye ke bo semama le bo semama using their phones only. Ke be ke go bolela ke dirisa di phone tsa bone hela because the phone ya ka dirisa gangwe hela yana e tlogala signature ka be tlogala gore e ne diriswa ke ma ke ana go utlwa bangwe ba lona go tenya itime o be terikwa. Technology has passed that stage. Technology has passed that stage. That is why banale le ko bo Irane le kwa hampie go batho ba bola wa motho ba gona go phina motho hela kwa ate antse a etsentse mo kgwatlhe ba bangwe ba di security agency bo ba re no na ga ke tsamaya ka phone a ke etse ka one kantra ba cheka ba re o tsamaya le my hair ba re kana kwa gore o tla ba le ko mosadi ba traka ya mosadi ba go betsa ka ya mosadi o tsontso le gone o utlwa le tsena le ru. You know, we are getting to a stage whereby now these gadgets are useless. They are a danger to you. Lona ba le pitsang ka di pseudonym le be le roga batho ga le itirele sentle go tlo go roga nako ya gore jaanong le bona batho ba setse ba letsela dikgato straight o ntse ra no butlana ka malo ba ne re lebeletse ya mongwe o na 15 pseudonyms make mo etse le pele wa union wa re roga ko la ta go gona a perisuit a re dumela minister ke mo lebella hala re ke dume a mo kaoleng because I know so ya ka tautona lona bua le lona be di ipuela ka one discipline a isimoleng ka rona pele road ba re ba etele dipele re bolella batho gore discipline go toba eng ha le gore ha o bona o le leader o bo create a pseudonym o le leader we check a center or it also now we create the word am I normal? Is this what a leader should do? Leaders ke batho ba straightforward ga sa itumelle selo wa go motho wa go mmolela gore ga ke itumelle se ga ipitse ka dina le sela ba roga motho ga tsofo ba itira yo wa manka o na go ngwe ke etse ke le post e kwadilo Ga e sona motho go buile poster ile ene yo poster ha sona poster a ba ikaraba di ba le 15 ba ikara ile ene he a ikaraba gore batho ga ba lebella ba re o tlo gore batho ba ntse gore ba re bona gore batho ba ntse ba re butle. I will analyze that post for you, all the comments for you. You go bolela gore ba le kana ke se mama yo ga itse se po go galwa ke ba 5 ba commentang jana. So we evaluate all those things. Now from our own security background, we know. Na ka la gakol. Ke itse re tore simara batho ba tselwa dikgato ka moso. Bo ba simolla ba re nya ba setso morago. They are dealing with your conduct, with your behavior. Yele rona le kwadileng ha gore discipline is important. Ga o sa utlwana le tautona ga go ke ngwe sa mmolele ha mara tautona wa me ga o dire sentle. Mamolaudi wa mo tlamala le structure. Wa bolela mamolaudi ya la wa le sa go mo shout wa mo describe mo dipampiri. Wa mmolela me mamolaudi ga re itumele tshwetso tsa gago. Tsa tsama sent. Hona le re bo ipitsa sudo ga o tswa fo bona go gare ga holo le kwa mo lebela emea. O re ya wena ba kaoleng. Ga se ka fo re batlang go tsamaisa mekgatlho ya rona ka teng. Mme hela discipline ke kono a re itseng gore yo tse dintseng jalo tseo ra di tlhoka. Ga re batle gore di nne teng. Re na le mathata a re nang le one a ke dumelang ba rotlhe re tshwantse gore ra imbake ke gore a re ga le tswa le be le na le plan ya gore ra go rekisa yang the new labor and employment law. Rotlhe re tshwaraganne re rute batho re se ka ra boela ko morago. Mme go ruta babereki ba rona ba kaolong go botlhokwa ka gore nako nngwe wa kgona gore ga o sa dire sentle ba go senyetse kgang ra utlwa ke le example re na le batho ba mine o kontlele ya komiti ya kwa mantha a kontsweleta ba na le kgang ba eloditse ko ministry. The ministry is addressing the issue go union akere bo ba tsa khamba isa ko industrial court khanye le ko industrial court ga ba tswa fo ba tsamaya ba ya ko parlamente ba re ba go petitiona ko parlamente a re ka addressa khanyate a mme ke yone tsamaiso tshwantse re nne teng ha ke re ba rotlhe ba ra itse gore moena mohiri le mmereki ga wena o setse o tsere case ya gago o isitse to the industrial court ka molao bile ka tshwanelo ka tumelano ra re rotlhe re emela court le nna nka re ke a ikgotlela wa go nkomanya o ntharo o batlang ka gore case ya rona e ko court ya go ga re tsamaya re ko parlamente re be ra the same issue re be re goromente re ga re ready a ga ready ke union kana ga re ke rona kana tsamaiso ye kwadilweng ya molao gore go tsamaiswang ga o dumalane le one re bona gore tsone di o tsena this is a suspicions between the two of us yani ke kope ke re thuto ke so sa botlhokwa gape ba kaoleng re dumeleng gore kana di tsamaiso tse re di dumalaneng tse le mohiri di ditelle le hanka bo ke ne ke batla go amogela madi a me gone gampe kwana mme ke be ke toa go te ka gore ga re dumalana a ye ko court re tsantse re he opportunity gore ye ka court re dumalane ba rotlhe gore no a re etelle a re eme ye ko court re tlo go bona katlholo kana tshwetso ye rileng ko court yana ha re tswa ha be re tsamaya kana be se dikgang tsa rona ko ra bo re ntse re ikgotlella case ka borona because mongwana ya no kante re tla re ya me gore ra lebana ya no gore ya no gone ha ra go akoka so ke sone se ke reng re rutaneng re educating ba bereki maloko a rona mo go tseneletseng ke buile go le gontsi ba kaoleng mme hela ga ke hetsa ke batla go lebogela tirisano ya rona re ntse re le mmogo. Ke batla go lebogela ka fo re ntseng re gakololana ka teng go tla go tsena gampieko, mme ke batla gore tshwaragano ena ya rona le go kgokwana mo ga rona mo a go tswelle gore go nne teng jalo. Ga go na le mathata ba ka lengwe se le teng gore mathata a tlhatlagane, a ra addresse mathata nako e santse ga ile teng. Rona re na le open door policy. Ga o re letsa o re bolela o le union ke na le mathata ke ya dira jalo. Ke bua jaana ke itse gore re santse re tlo go na le mathata ga re implementa molao o, e le mathata interpretation. Go interpreta road mohiri le mmereki le rona. Jaanong go batla tshwaragano, go batla tirisano mmogo e tseneletseng. We will never disappoint you. Not at any time. We will listen to you. We will come to your aid whenever you have a problem. Kana go bosigo kana go ntsang, talk to us. Yaka wana kitile le commissioner aleha. You talk to her, you call her to say, really union ha rena le mathata. Rena le mohiri ki yo dira jana le jana. So that re address di kgantse before di tla go tswala kwa ntle. Because I'm worried ka go tlhoka go sala tsamaiso morago. Ba bereki ba rona ba jelong tsoma ba le bantsi. Motho a sa duelwe sentle from 2023. E be le gona a sa kang case gampieko. Mohiri kana wa go ya mahala re 30 days o hitile. Ga wa sala process. Yani ke kopa gore di tse tsotletse re di sale morago tse. Le nna ke sone se reng ha mmereki a tla go go nna a complaina ka selo ka sengwe ke maragala ke ya go register case pele gore yo a ska ba go tswalela kwa ntle. Ne ke kopa gore ke eme go le kalo ba kaoleng. Nelwang ke pula.
Rona re a tsena,
Rona re a tsena,
re tsena
ka lejano. Dumelang theba humikil. Dumelang theba humikil.
dumelante ba home ke lona.
Dumelang theba humikil.
Rona
Ke le moge mo go hapegileng ministera wa me Re Pius Mokgware. Ke dira jalo ka gore ke mongwe wa bo minister ba leng gore I consider them very hardworking. Ke motho leng gore o bereka le rona sentle re le makgotla a babereki. Ke dumela gore le lona gore a ba le ga le tsenye dingalo ka sepe gotlhelele. Ebile gape ka tla go recognize mokwaledi wa gagwe mme Mapilato o leng gore le ene hela ka gore o tsene go ene o heta ka ene ga gona le le ka dingalo dipe tota re le babereki re itumela tirisano mmogo e re nang le one le ministry wa labor le ene minister ka sebele. Minister, I want to take this opportunity and thank you very much. Hanyengwe minister a re le change dipina. Ha ke zo re la go ira yana mme o le challenge la re le change dipina. Program Director, Leadership of the Botswana Transport and General Workers Union, distinguished guests, delegates, ke a dumedisa. On behalf of the Botswana Federation of Trade Unions, I bring you warm revolutionary greetings and unwavering solidarity. It is both an honor and a privilege to stand before this August Congress, the highest decision-making body of your union, at such a critical and defining moment in the labor movement of Botswana. Let me begin by commending Btgwu for convening this Congress under the powerful and timely theme, Strength in Unity, Championing Fair Labor Practices in the Dawn of New Legislation. I think I have a little confession to make. Ke palelwa ke leina le la Btgwu. So, ra gore ha ke ntse ke tsweletse ke sa lebitse sentle le tlenkinela diatla metsing. But transport. Comrades, this theme could not be more relevant. The coming into force of the Employment and Labor Relations Act of 2025 marks a new chapter in the struggle for workers' rights in Botswana. However, history has taught us that progressive legislation alone does not automatically translate into justice for workers. It is through unity, vigilance, and collective action that laws gain meaning. As workers and trade unionists, we must therefore position ourselves not as passive recipients of reform, but as active agents in shaping its implementation. This Congress presents a critical opportunity for BTGW to consolidate its organizational strength, elect visionary leadership, and reaffirm its commitment to defending the dignity of workers across all sectors we represent. And that is from transport to retail, to security, to cleaning and manufacturing. As BFTU, we are particularly encouraged by the emphasis on fair labor practices. This must include the protection of vulnerable and informal workers, the advancement of gender equality and equity in the workplace, the elimination of discrimination and exploitation, as well as the strengthening of collective bargaining mechanisms. Comrades, unity is not just a slogan, it is our most powerful weapon as workers. In a rapidly changing labor environment characterized by economic pressures, job insecurity, and evolving employer practices, the labor movement must remain cohesive, strategic, and forward-looking. Therefore, we must speak with one voice, we must act with one purpose, and we must never lose sight of the worker at the center of our struggle. As BFTU, we reaffirm our full support to BTGW. We stand ready to walk this journey with you, to advocate, to mobilize, and to ensure that the promise of the new legislation translates into real, tangible improvements in the lives of workers. And in closing, allow me, Director of Ceremonies, to remind this Congress that the strength of our movement lies not in our numbers alone, but in our unity, our courage and unwavering commitment to justice. And from BFTU, we wish you a successful and impactful Congress. And we look forward to the outcomes that will shape the future of workers in Botswana.
Naki video Mavis ko hotitse ke tswa ko Southern Africa Trade Union Coordination Council ya ka go setse go boletswe. Briefly, ba leng gore ba bantšha mo unioning, Southern Africa Trade Union Coordination Council ke lekgotla la babereki in Southern Africa. All the trade union federations in Southern Africa are affiliate to Southern Africa Trade Union Southern Africa Trade Union Coordination Council. BFTU is a member of Southern Africa Trade Union Coordination Council. Bufepusu is a member of Southern Africa Trade Union Coordination Council. So, go maleba gore ke be ke le ha gompieno ke tla go bua le lona in this Congress. But also go maleba gore ke be ke le kwano as ngwana wa Motswana, and yaka comrade ana bua ke tswa kgakala le BTGWU. Ha ba simolla ba meja ke ne ke na le bone. They used to have a very, very strong education program. And I'm very grateful that you still have Remfila in the room today, your executive secretary, who has played a very a pivotal role in making sure that Lekotale le agola le nna jaaka ha le ntse. Let me not waste time and get into, the message of today. I stand on the already observed protocol, as the minister has already indicated, because sometimes we forget others. It is a great honor to stand before you today on behalf of the Southern Africa Trade Union Coordination Council, SATUC. I bring you fraternal greetings from the wider family of Southern Africa workers and the leadership of SATUC. As we gather at this crucial moment, the theme you have selected for this Congress, which is Strength in Unity, Championing Fair Labor Practices in the Dawn of New Legislation, is more than just a slogan. It serves as a strategic roadmap. So comrades, as the Executive Secretary of SATUC, I always call myself a servant of workers, I can confirm that the entire Southern Africa Development Community region is watching Botswana today. We've been watching Botswana since October 2024 with very much interest. And I must say that today you are not just hosting a Congress, you are actually setting a standard for other trade unions in the country that are yet to have their own congresses. And for that, I really want to thank you that you anchor yourselves in making sure that as you go forward, you start with looking at the new legislation. For that, it's very commendable. Comrades, the enactment of the Employment and Labor Relations Act of 2025 on November 27th last year, is it 27th last year? Yes, marks a major shift in the country's legal landscape. For decades, we have fought for labor laws that honor workers' dignity amid job insecurity, for the right to organize, and for collective bargaining that delivers real results for workers. This new act, I say it is a tool. Why do I say that? How tools? So, but a tool is only effective as the hands that use it. How as trade unionists, our job is to ensure this legislation is not left unused or that it gathers dust in our shelves. We must ensure it leads to stronger protections for transport and general workers. It leads to real collective bargaining that represents union power, and that it must also ensure that there is fair employment relations that reduce the gap between the rich and the poor. I must say, comrades, that this Congress should address a very important question. Who are we leaving behind? As we are here in the room, ask yourself, who else are we leaving behind? Are we all here with the people that we must represent? The transport and general workers sector in Botswana is large, but many workers remain outside the protective reach of this union. We commend the Btgwu for its going efforts, but we need a more intentional and assertive plan to organize workers in the informal economy, those operating without contracts, social protections, or a voice. I heard the minister touched on that, and I was very happy. It's as if when I was writing my speech that he was also, caucusing with me. And usually I don't write speech, I listen, and then I move, with the flow. But because sometimes I want to remind myself that I'm not speaking as a Motswana, but I'm speaking as SATUC, it helps when I put something together that I can actually speak to. So, comrades, the informal economy is not separate from the formal. It is the shadow that capital casts to evade responsibility. If we are serious about championing fair labor practices, we must go where workers are most vulnerable. Are there any workers here from the security services? Who is representing them? Are there workers here from the cleaning services? Who is representing them? And while you talk about those workers in the sector that affiliate to you, you need to make sure that all the time when you are in the room, they are also there. I also see that you sent the invitation to the minister and he honored it. Who else in the sector in government have you invited who is supposed to be here? Did you actually invite them, and did they not honor the invitation, or you forgot to invite them? Sometimes we put a lot of burden baggage on the Ministry of Labor alone. This sector's minister should be here, and his senior officials. Hawanaya. The management and the board of the different organizations in this sector should be here. Did you invite them, Comrade President? Why are they not here? So, Comrade Minister, Honorable Minister, you cannot carry the burden of workers in Botswana or of labor alone. You have your counterparts that you work with, they must carry the burden with you and make sure that they come and answer for some of the issues that we articulate. This leads me to talk about the platform economy, and I'm very happy also again that the minister touched on it. Companies like Yango, InDrive, and others have entered the Botswana market with promises of flexibility, but too often they deliver precarity, low earnings, and workers misclassified as independent partners or contractors to avoid employer obligations. The past 2 weeks, other than the fact that Honorable Minister, I was using Yango simply because I wanted to have a conversation with them. I wonder how many of you just consider them as transport that takes you from your house to work and not consider them as one of your own. Do you actually talk to them and find out what their challenges are and find out what their contracts are? Or you look at them as company. So I think you need to start thinking seriously about that because they are workers like yourselves. And if you don't talk to them, you are not going to understand what their challenges are. If you are going to organize them, you need to build a relationship first with them because it's very difficult to try and say that you want to organize someone and you start the conversation, a serious conversation like that without building rapport with them first. People become very apprehensive. Within the Yango, the InDrive, the Ubers, you find the cleaners, care work, those people that you organize, they are migrant workers, Honorable Minister, and most of them undocumented. We cannot run away from that. How do we engage to make sure that they do not become apprehensive? They actually feel that the union is a place where they need to go to get support. Forget about whether they are legal or not. That is another issue that can be handled in a different platform. But you need to bring them closer to yourselves. And this brings me to the issue that there is the ILO Blue Report, the 2025 Global Report on the Future of Work and the Platform Economy. I don't know whether, Commissioner, you've already received that. But, Comrade President, that is a report that you need to familiarize yourself very much with. In as much as BFTU as the Federation tackles some of these issues, but these are sectorial issues that lie within this sector, and you must be very conversant about them. The Blue Report, as I've mentioned, has made it absolutely clear that platform workers are workers, entitled to the same rights and protections as anyone else. The report challenges us to break down the illusion of gig work as something outside the scope of labor law. The new Employment and Labor Relations Act gives us an opportunity, but the law alone is not enough. What we need is to organize, and organize. We need to reach each driver, every delivery rider, every platform worker, and bring them into the fold of this union. And having said that, comrades, I want to say that the global fight for the platform workers, and I'm sure ITF is running with this theme as well, is that the platform work is reaching a critical point. This year at the International Labour Congress, the ILC in Geneva, a commission on the platform economy will shape international labor standards for years to come. We were together, Commissioner, in that commission last year. It is essential that Btgwu, as the sectorial union, secures accreditation to attend the ILC and actively participate in that commission. Honorable Minister, Commissioner being here, make sure that they are also accredited. We don't want people that do not have relevance to be going to the ILC when people whose issues are being discussed are not in the room. If they do not accredit you, we are happy to accredit you as SATUC. But what it means is that you need to collectively make sure that you have a fund that can support you, support a few delegates to be able to go to the ILC this year so that you are part of the conversation and that you can actively participate in the commission. We must ensure that the voices of Botswana platform workers are heard in that room. SATUC is ready to support your application and make sure our region is represented in the debates shaping the future of work. Having said that, comrades, I just want to move on to issues of occupational safety and health. No worker should die on the job. I think we see Honorable Minister on the A1. Malatia ke tshaba le hone ho travel. Ha ke ya Francistown ke tsamaya ka ko le phepe ka ko. Ke ya go heta ka ko ke be ke ya go joina ko Seruli. Tota ile gore ke tshaba A1. I'm seeing also the trucks. They've started moving ba tsamaya ka ko. Ha ke sura ha gona molao o ba laolelang gore ba dirise tsela e. And those transport workers are our family members. Those transport workers, truck drivers are your members. Those truck drivers are cross-border drivers. So we cannot discuss fair labor practices without mentioning occupational safety and health. The transport sector remains among the most dangerous. Long hours, insufficient rest, poorly maintained vehicles, and pressure to meet unrealistic targets that endangers lives. So the new law enhances OSH rules, but laws only work if they are enforced. You need to familiarize yourself with, while the Botswana Labor Relations Act says this, but what are the relevant conventions that apply to your sector have been ratified or not ratified by Botswana government? And the campaign for ratification of those and implementation lies with yourselves, not only with the Federation. So the new law enhances OSH rules. I'm very happy that, Honorable Minister, there's so much about OSH in the new law. But as I've mentioned, they need to understand, my comrades, that laws only work if they are enforced, that this requires better education and shop steward training programs. Shop stewards need to be prepared not just to handle complaints, but also to inspect. Commissioner, I hope in your inspections that you do not go by yourselves. You should actually have trained trade unionists from different sectors that can actually accompany your labor inspectors when they go to do inspections. You must understand, comrades, that the regulations spot hazards and also be able to hold employers responsible before workers get hurt or killed. We urge Btgwu to invest in a comprehensive OSH and inspection training program for its shop floor leadership. An educated shop steward serves as the first line of defense against workplace fatalities. While we talk about those important issues, but I want to also now come to issues that, affect us as unions ourselves. We cannot talk about issues that affect us externally and not talk about our own issues and the role that we play as trade unionists within the movement. Honorable Minister spoke at length about how we need to introspect, how to look at issues of internal democracy and governance. Sometimes unions feel that you can keep the government or your employers accountable. But how do we make sure that we hold ourselves accountable? So those are some of the things that we need to start thinking about. And Honorable Minister and distinguished delegates, I must raise a matter of grave concern, something that really worries me and weakens the entire trade union movement in Botswana, which is the issue of dual membership. The minister talked about the fact that when you organize or you talk to others to join the union. Lebara le re le na le mananeo a go join a funeral scheme. Lebara le re le na le mananeo a gore ba tseye di-loan. Lebara le re le na le mananeo a gore le ba he di-laptop le di-cell phone. Bagaetsho, that is not your core business. Your mandate is to organize workers and represent workers' issues. I know that you often say you have created business wins so that you have sustainable income to run the union. You can run the union with the subscriptions. What worries me is that you take the subscriptions from your members, you form business wins, you deny them the platform for them to engage and say, this is how we want you to run these business units. So that is something that really, really worries me. And it's the thing that has led to dual membership, Honorable Minister. And when workers belong to multiple unions within the same sector, or even outside the sector, it does not empower their voice. It fragments it. It causes confusion and duplicated membership. It leads to jurisdictional conflicts, and it weakens sectorial bargaining by dividing the very workers we are supposed to unite. Comrade, how less obojo ena ole ko bonu on sa subscription. Obota mawa ho joina bopeu ka gore ke public service. On sa subscription. Bo mtshwara khole bo batla le bone. Obojo ena ba re bana le. You see what I'm saying? Every tab that goes out of your pay slip means that your take home is going to be very little. So I want to stress that you need to start thinking about some of these issues. The unions are not supposed to be in competition. The unions are supposed to support and complement each other in the different sectors that they are in. So I want to be very clear, and I know I'm not popular because of this. Why it's Comrade Molaud. Mo di union re tshwantse ra bua boammaaruri. Ha re sa bue boammaaruri ga re ka ya gope. Enforcing no dual membership policy is not a violation of freedom of association, Honorable Minister. This right, it guarantees the ability to join a union, but it does not ensure the right to belong to multiple unions in the same sector or outside the sector if it harms collective bargaining. In fact, a unified sector-wide approach is what empowers workers with real influence at the bargaining table. So I would like to urge you, Honorable Minister, to consult with social partners, Business Botswana, BFTU, and Btgwu on this issue, to clarify this issue as well as to support a framework that encourages single sectorial representation, one that enhances, not diminishes the collective voice of workers. And having said that, it's important then to talk about the strength in unity across borders, which I have been alluding to. Comrades, no union can work in isolation. Even though Btgwu is a powerful voice in Botswana, we face common issues beyond borders. The rise of the gig economy, which I've mentioned, the casualization of work, and the multinational corporations that pit countries against each other to lower wages. You would find that if there are no standards that apply across the region and there's no harmonization of laws, then workers are exploited. SATUC was founded on the principle that an injury to one is an injury to all. And exploiting a worker in Gaborone impacts on a worker in Johannesburg, a worker in Lusaka, a worker in Harare. So we are proud for the role that Btgwu plays within the BFTU and stand with the ITF and SATAU to ensure transport workers, the arteries of our regional economy, are not left bleeding from unfair practices. So let us use this new act to strengthen the regional solidarity, ensuring that employers cannot move capital across borders to evade justice. On the 8th of April, we are going to have a hybrid and virtual meeting that addresses some of these issues. So we will also send an invitation to BFTU. But when we do, BFTU, make sure that the invitation goes to the sector that organizes. We do not want you to give us somebody from your own board. We want somebody from the specific center to be in that meeting. Now, I cannot end this conversation without talking about the role of leadership. Comrade President, I know that today most of your board members are probably around, moving around, organizing and stuff, but I was hoping to see them here so that I see the composition of your elected leaders. How many women are there? How many young workers are in your committee? Because you need to have a policy that makes sure that everyone is represented, and that when you have those committees, you ensure that when you budget, your annual budget reflects also the composition of the membership that you have. You cannot have a women's committee that does not have a budget to run its own activities. You cannot have a young workers a committee that does not have a fund that enables them to go around and do their activities. So I want to say you are the vanguard, the leadership and the delegates. I'm about to end. As you unpack the theme and elect leadership for the coming years, remember that a union's strength is measured not just by its bank balance. The union is saying di na le go ikgatla gore tsone di na le madi. Madi a ga sa bone, madi a ke a maloko. Your strength is measured by your ability to mobilize, to organize, to educate, and protect the most vulnerable workers. We must ensure that the implementation of the Employment and Labor Relations Act of 2025 is supported by comprehensive trade union education. Workers cannot claim rights they do not know exist. So to conclude, comrades, as we finish this opening ceremony and move into the main part of your Congress, let us do so with a renewed sense of purpose. Let's commit to organizing every worker, both formal and informal. Let us reach out to platform workers and make sure Botswana is represented, even at the ILC and all the international platforms. Let's prioritize safety through education and inspections, and let's commit to true unity by addressing the fragmentation caused by dual membership. SATUC stands ready to walk this journey with you. We support Btgwu unreservedly. Thank you, comrades. Viva Btgwu! Viva Workers' Power! Viva the Employment and Labor Relations Act of 2025!